Tonight on Cronkite News, the Phillies come to D-backs territory looking to go up 3-0. We'll show you how different life was since the Snakes' last NLCS appearance.
Plus, we'll take you to Scottsdale with a look at the new betting and entertainment facility coming to the Valley soon.
And what House committee members believe is causing the most damage to national parks and tribal lands. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Beatrice Martinez.
And I'm Paul Schultz. Thank you for joining us.
The Diamondbacks back at home and finally pull out a win against Philly.
Trey Matthews joins us now from Chase Field.
The Diamondbacks finally gave their fans something to cheer for as they narrowly defeated the Phillies by a score of 2-1. Ketel Marte walks home the hero as he was able to secure a game-winning walk-off single in the bottom of the ninth inning that secured the victory for the Snakes. This is the Diamondbacks' third postseason walk-off victory and their first NLCS victory since 2001. They still trail the series 2-1. However, they hope to turn this series around with 2 games remaining in the Valley in order to possibly enter back into Philadelphia with a clean slate. Game 4 is scheduled for Friday with first pitch set at 5:07 p.m. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. In Phoenix, Trey Matthews, Cronkite News.
It has been quite a while since the Arizona Diamondbacks have played in a National League Championship Series. 16 years to be exact.
Hard to believe I was in just first grade at the time. Matt Venezia takes us back in time to see what life was like in 2007, both here in Phoenix and nationwide.
Thanks, guys. As the NLCS shifts to Chase Field for 3 scheduled games, a lot has happened since 2007, so let's go back in time and see what life was like back then. A guy by the name of Steve Jobs and his company Apple released the original iPhone, a touchscreen mobile device that was said to redefine the way users can do things on their mobile phones, and it was starting at just $500. I mean, imagine that. Moving right along, Soulja Boy was the #1 single in America at the time, and you'd have to think that that was playing in the locker room before taking the field against the Rockies 16 years ago. Speaking of Phoenix teams, the Suns celebrated their 40th season in the NBA. They were led by Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, and Shawn Marion. Remember, that was the season that the team traded for Shaq later in the year, and the Suns finished 6th in the West, but was ousted by the eventual NBA champion San Antonio Spurs in 5 games in the first round. And finally, Corbin Carroll and I were in elementary school. We were tuning in to watch the NLCS after school and homework, but not for too long, though, because it was a school night. No matter how you look at it, it's been a while since the D-backs' last NLCS appearance, and life is so different now in 2023. The light rail, ASU's downtown campus, and newly built residential units have given downtown Phoenix new life. And you have to expect that the surrounding areas around Chase Field are going to be popping this weekend. In studio, Matt Venezia, Cronkite News.
With all of the changes and trades made with the Phoenix Suns, many fans had doubts about the team's success. But they now have the Suns winning it all after some impressive preseason performances. The Suns have experienced a great amount of change, 14 new players added to the roster this year, including a new head coach, new owners, and even a new CEO. Head coach Frank Vogel knows the importance of building a team chemistry, especially early in the season. However, the Suns have already been looking like a cohesive unit so far in the preseason.
I think everybody understands what we have here. You know, we have a special team that has realistic expectations to compete for a championship. When you have a built-in belief just by looking at the pieces around you, I think there's more of an inclination to jumpstart your chemistry. With our LA mini camp this summer and guys trying to connect in the off season, doing things away from the basketball court and really putting in the work here in the gym. I think it starts with the belief.
The Suns wrap up the preseason tonight in a brand new arena in Palm Springs against the Lakers. The regular season tips off on Tuesday against former Sun Chris Paul and the Golden State Warriors.
Well, sports gambling is growing in the Valley once again as a new sports book opens in Scottsdale. It's the first of its kind to open at a PGA Tour tournament location.
Our Evan Reiser joins us from TPC Scottsdale with a special look at the DraftKings grand opening. How's it going, Evan?
TPC Scottsdale is the home to the WM Phoenix Open every February. But now, it will also be the home to the brand new state-of-the-art DraftKings Sportsbook. This is the first partnership between DraftKings and the PGA Tour. The venue will have over 40 betting kiosks and 7 ticket windows. After placing the ceremonial first bet, Larry Fitzgerald is excited to see how the facility will grow the game.
They play four rounds, 40 times a year, so I just think it gives a better opportunity to bring more golf in. If you think about what, sports betting has done with football in terms of like the fantasy component, it's brought a lot of fans that probably weren't initially football fans but have their fantasy teams. And so hopefully the game of golf will grow in that similar fashion.
Sportsbook, they will also offer an extensive food menu for all. The building will open on Friday, October 20th at 10 a.m. In Scottsdale, Evan Reiser, Cronkite News.
Great stuff, Evan. Thank you. Coming up next, a Sun Devil alum has found an interesting new career path. Jake Plummer was a star on the field, but his post-career path has led him to medicinal mushrooms. Find out why next.
And we're just days away from some much cooler temperatures. Your weekend forecast is also next.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage,
against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
This is CN to Go. I'm Emily Olson with your Wednesday news briefing.
Do you want to create innovative content for Cronkite News? Do you enjoy listening to podcasts? Then CN to Go is for you. Cronkite News to Go is a podcast where students cover the latest headlines. Students become audio producers and hosts and will learn how to write, record, and edit stories. You can listen to the latest episodes on these platforms.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Welcome back. Oftentimes, former football players go into coaching or the broadcast booth, but former ASU quarterback Jake Plummer took a different path.
Our Cronkite News reporter Kenji Ito caught up with the former Sun Devil to see what's been keeping him busy.
Jake Plummer is well known here in Arizona from his playing days with the Sun Devils and the Cardinals, and now the former quarterback is part of a new team trying to help others through functional mushrooms.
Post-career has led me on a lot of fun paths, and one of them was into exploring ways to heal. And my friend who I met in that little adventure brought some mushroom tinctures to me before the pandemic, and through the healing I felt from those, we decided to start a company, naming it Umbo.
From his experiences, Plummer noted that these functional mushrooms are more than just a fungi and benefit your health in many ways.
We can take and ingest and not get sick from are amazing adaptogens. Very strong in a lot of anti-type things, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. So we're cleansing our body using mushrooms, and so we're finding out that psilocybin can help in a lot of ways with the mental illnesses we face as a society.
Moving forward, Plummer plans to continue to be an advocate for medicinal mushrooms, not only for athletes, but also for people and their everyday lives. In Tempe, Kenji Ito, Cronkite News.
Thank you, Kenji. A busy weekend for ASU sports lies ahead. A couple teams heading to California for the weekend. Men's and women's tennis participating in ITA regionals. And up north, women's golf competes in the Stanford Intercollegiate. Back in Tempe, a big weekend for the Sun Devil swim and dive team as they host North Carolina State for a 2-day meet.
But wait, there's more. Not sure if you've heard. ASU volleyball is tied for 17th in the country. They play Friday in Salt Lake and Sunday in Boulder. The 18th ranked men's hockey team welcomes Northern Michigan for 2 nights at Mullet Arena. On the pitch, ASU soccer wraps up a weekend in LA against the Bruins on Sunday. In the big game of the week, the Sun Devil football team taking on 5th ranked Washington. A tough test for Kenny Dillingham's squad, but they beat the Huskies last year in Tempe, so you never know.
The Final Four is 6 months away, and the Valley will be playing host to the big event. Phoenix Mercury star Diana Taurasi and Mercury alum Penny Taylor were in attendance at today's event.
The two read to about 1,500 elementary school children as part of the Read to Final Four contest designed to inspire kids to read more and spark more interest in their academics. Taurasi was honored to promote a reading initiative for Arizona elementary schools.
Oh, I mean, it's a big part of life and understanding, and I think just being in this setting with, you know, all these kids from Phoenix where we've been for the last 20 years and how important it is for the advancement of yourself as a human being.
Now that the new Mercury owner Matt Ishbia has announced plans for a new practice facility for the team and has also named a new head coach, DT weighed in on some of the changes. She supported the team's decision to hire Nate Tibbetts despite his lack of experience coaching women, saying the last time the Mercury did that, the team won a championship.
You know, I was thrilled. You know, Coach Tibbetts, I mean, what a resume, you know, to be in the NBA for 14 years, be at the highest level, and for him to make, you know, a huge decision to come to the WNBA. I know Matt, Josh, and Nick, they're going all in, and I think you can feel that with, you know, the hiring of Nate. And with a practice facility going up in Phoenix, in downtown Phoenix, it's just going to bring more life to the city. I know for us personally to have a space where we can work year-round, you know, it's going to take us to a different level as a franchise. I think around the league, we're going to set the standard.
Tibbetts' first official press conference will take place at Footprint Center Friday at 10 a.m. Our team will have more on the new coach in town this upcoming week.
Keeping things with the W, last night the Las Vegas Aces became the 2023 WNBA champions after defeating the New York Liberty 70-69 in a best-of-5 series. The Aces were missing 2 of their key starters, but that wasn't a problem for head coach Becky Hammon, as the Aces became the first team in 21 years to win back-to-back titles. Hammon is now the 3rd pro basketball coach to win 2 titles in their first 2 years in their role. And the Defensive Player of the Year, Aja Wilson, earns her first Finals MVP award, becoming the youngest player to win League MVP, a title, and Finals MVP at 27 years old.
Well, it's been pretty warm around the valley, but we've just got to make it a few more days before things really start to cool down here. Alexis Davis joins us now with what we can expect.
Good evening. I'm so happy to be with you tonight. 7 p.m., about 94 degrees. As you're on your way home, you should only expect it to drop a little bit to 85. But here in Arizona, it's perfect patio weather. And I don't know about you, but once I get home, I'm going to enjoy it with my 6-month-old golden doodle. Now, the next 24 hours, we shouldn't really expect too much. Going to be pretty stagnant. But if you like consistency like me, we're not taking you on a weather roller coaster tonight. Now, for our low temperatures, 71 degrees in Phoenix, and Show Low is staying true to their name with a low temperature of 48. And our friends over at Flagstaff, 38 degrees, and it's about that skiing season. Now, going into our high temperatures, in true capital fashion, Phoenix is setting the tone again at 104 degrees. Now, at University of Arizona, our friends over in Tucson, High Wildcats out there, you guys can expect 101. It's game time in the Valley again tomorrow for Game 4 on Friday. 100 degrees as you're settling into your seat with your hot dog and popcorn. The Phillies may be in town, but luckily for us, they let their fans at home. Now, let's take a look at the 8-day forecast. We're starting off at 104, but we're only going to get down to 97. Now, let's look at this whole 8-day. We're going to drop to 84, a little bit chillier, but we can expect that for the next couple of weeks. And here in Arizona, we are super excited to welcome our snowbirds here in the Valley. I'm Alexis Davis from the Weather Center.
Coming up next, a look at the news headlines from across the country and right here in Arizona.
That's right, we'll have the latest on the vote for a new House Speaker. And a stern warning for those who leave a token of their love at the Grand Canyon. The crackdown on love locks when we return.
And that's the way it is. Monday, September.
Newscasting has changed a lot since the time of Walter Cronkite. That's why here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, you can learn the studio production skills of today in real time. Whether you want to work audio, direct, technical direct, design graphics, or you can even run the floor. It's all part of the Television Production and Graphics Lab here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. We're going on in 3, 2...
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication's Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
I'm Emily Mai with a look at what's making headlines across the state. Today, Arizona State University announced its future medical school will be located in downtown Phoenix. The medical school was first announced back in June, but there's been a lot of speculation about just where it will be built until today. But the exact location of where it will be built was not disclosed, and we also don't know when construction will begin. But ASU President Michael Crow, who was joined by Mayor Kate Gallego, talked about the impact it will have on downtown Phoenix when complete.
I think that the main thing that it means for healthier families is a new kind of doctor being produced who's technologically enhanced by every tool imaginable and able to work across entire communities, not just with individual patients. It's an opportunity for the citizens of Phoenix to continue the tradition, which has been, how do you build a great city? One of the ways you build a great city is with a great university in the heart of the city and with great new programs like this new medical school, this new public health technology school, all being headquartered in downtown Phoenix.
School Superintendent Tom Horn has announced plans to fill the empty school resource officer positions across the state. There are 138 vacant positions, so the Arizona Department of Education has tapped a management company that schedules off-duty police officers to fill the roles. But these new positions are a little different. Instead, they'll be called school safety officers and won't go through the same training that school resources officers go through. The National Park Service has a message for all its visitors. Stop leaving so-called love locks at the Grand Canyon. In a post on Facebook, the National Park Service notes how visitors will often leave padlocks on the fences to symbolize their love for their partner. The key is then thrown into the canyon. Officials are noting that it is actually littering and is dangerous for the wildlife. The post claims that curious animals, such as birds, are attracted to shiny objects and will often eat them. The post included an X-ray showing coins wedged in the digestive tract of a bird that had to be removed by surgery. The surge of migrants has affected local and federal governments in a number of ways. But is it affecting our national parks as well? That was the question a House committee considered Wednesday. as Alexandria Cullen reports from our Washington bureau.
Which causes more damage to parks and tribal lands, migrants crossing the desert and leaving trash behind, or the border wall, which is supposed to keep them out.
Construction of a wall on federal lands near our reservations also interferes with the flow of scarce, vital water resources on which plants and wildlife depend. Our tribal members rely on these plants for food, medicine, and cultural purposes.
The border wall was just one part of a House Natural Resources Committee hearing on the government's use of Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn to house migrants. Committee Republicans noted that the environmental regulations were waived to construct the emergency housing.
The administration must wake up to the illegal immigration crisis and come to the table to work with Congress on securing our border and addressing the dangers and environmental impacts of our public lands.
Federal officials testifying at the hearing said that the trash and environmental harm caused by migrants is a problem, but that it's not a new phenomenon.
It's been a continuous problem for decades of us removing trash and other natural resource and visitor effects that occur on our international border along the Coronado.
The Republicans' defense of environmental regulations was not lost on Democratic Congressman Raul Grijalva, who accused them of a double standard. He called the hearing a little more than a GOP excuse to push for the border wall.
Continue the wall. It's failed. It didn't do its job. As much as it was ballyhooed and talked about, it's become political rhetoric and a political symbol. In terms of deterrence, it does not work.
The contentious partisan hearing included a lot of petty jabs, but few possible solutions. Jose may have had the best answer to the migration problem, even if it was the least likely.
I wave that magic wand across and create true immigration reform.
One solution everyone did agree on to address all concerns for every party involved was to have a seat at the table. In Washington, Alexandria Cullen, Cronkite News.
President Trump's former attorney pleaded guilty today for trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election in Georgia. Sidney Powell pleaded guilty to 6 misdemeanor charges today, accusing her of conspiring to interfere with the election. In exchange, Powell must testify against her co-defendants. She was charged alongside President Trump and 17 others. Powell will serve 6 years of probation. Meanwhile, Republican Representative Jim Jordan reportedly says he would support a temporary House Speaker while he tries to secure the votes needed for him to win the seat. As you know, Jordan lost 2 votes for House Speaker, and there are no immediate plans for a third vote. The seat is open after former Speaker Kevin McCarthy was ousted earlier this month. And a lighter note, if you are a person who snoozes their alarm in the morning, then good news for you. A study shows that hitting snooze for a short period of time can actually be beneficial. A new report published in the Journal of Sleep Research found that briefly snoozing your alarm can be healthier for you compared to waking up after the first alarm going off. The research found that short snooze periods can actually help against mood decline while improving cognitive functioning and alleviating sleep inertia. The study also found that most snoozers are young adults and not morning people. And that's it for our latest headlines. In the studio, Emily Mai, Cronkite News. Now back to Beatrice and Paul.
Thank you, Emily. Well, Halloween is just 12 days away. Have you got your costume yet?
If not, we've got you covered, because when we return, we'll break down the list of the most popular Halloween costumes this year. Any guesses as to what comes in at number 1?
Three, 2, 1. Cronkite News. Get real professional experience in areas such as reporting, broadcast editing, and behind-the-scenes production, such as technical director and audio.
Kill the mics.
Or go out in the field and cover important local stories.
Learn and master the English language.
In a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Cronkite News. The future starts now.
Here at the Walter Cronkite School, students produce award-winning content that focuses on health disparities in underserved communities and how to turn things around. In Cronkite News and Cronkite Noticias, students cover stories that affect people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, people with disabilities, and others across the Southwest.
We highlight big problems that are often overlooked in communities that are underserved.
Those stories not only inform and educate people about the challenges, but we work hard to highlight potential solutions. In the Cronkite Agency, students work to connect with community members through social media campaigns in English and Spanish.
Being a Hispanic myself, it's nice to be able to give back to my own community.
Find more of our health coverage at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Well, we're just about 2 weeks away from Halloween, so that means there's not much time to get your costume.
That's right. So all you procrastinators out there, listen up. Google has just released its list of the most popular costumes this year. And in the number 5 spot, a fairy. Number 4, a witch. Number 3, Spider-Man. And in second place, a princess. So, B, what is this year's most popular costume?
Well, Paul, the most popular costume across the country, according to Google, is Barbie. No doubt because of the monster success of the movie. Barbie is also the most popular costume in Phoenix and in Tucson. And Barbie and Ken are the most popular costumes for couples. So you can plan on seeing a lot of pink come Halloween night.
Yeah, you know, I thought maybe the most popular couple's costume might be Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, but you know, it is what it is. Thanks for joining us tonight on Cronkite News.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.